dirty.
My gun used to hold 12, now hold 30.
Now hold 30. Now hold 30.
Now hold 30. Look at now hold 30.
This is a Jmix exclusive.
Did you have any idea, or do you think Pac had any idea how big that he would be?
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Like I said, when you're flying, man, and it's happening, it's hard to see it. And the only reason I know that is because I've done some big shit. I was not as big as Tupac was musically, but I've been a hustler, a street hustler my whole life. And I've had moments where, you know, where I was getting to that motherfucking check so crazy to where I couldn't see it. Because when you're flying, people can see you fly by. It's like a nice car that goes by. Everybody's like, hey, look at that motherfucker. You can't see it because you in it. But they can see it going by. And I think that goes the same because Tupac was so humble, just like you said, the person you met, he never paid attention to himself. And I'm the same way. And I think that's a dope way to be because I've seen artists who do pay attention to themselves, who can see themselves, and then be the motherfuckers who be like, yeah, I'm the nigga. You know what I mean? Now, hold on, man. Fuck that. I'm the motherfucker. Like, it's people who feel like that. And, I mean, to each his own. If that's how you rock, I can't knock that because confidence is a good thing to have. You know, cockiness and shit like that is a good thing to have. And you have to be confident and cocky to survive out here. But speaking about Tupac, no, he didn't see himself. He couldn't see himself because he was himself. And he was great, and he couldn't see how great he was because you never can when you're the one that's moving unless you're on the other side of it, unless you like vain and you know, feeling yourself. Now, I don't think for a moment knew he knew how big he was because he never tripped off that shit, bro. He just was in the studio making more and making more. Every time I saw him, it was more music, more weed, more studio time. And that's all he was into. He was never like that around me. When me and him was together, he was just Pop. He just was regular. He never popped that fly guy shit on me. So no, I don't think he knew how big he was. And if he did, he carried it just like he carried it. Like shit, he wasn't tripping. That man just wanted to make music, man. That's all he wanted to do. He stayed in the studio all the fucking time, bro. He was in the studio all the time. He would call me. I would call him and be like, what you doing? He'd be like, you in L.A.? I'd be like, no. He'd be like, call me when you get to L.A. Click and hang up the phone. And he'd be serious. I'd call him and be like, hey, I was thinking about doing a song. You in L.A.? I'm like, call me when you get to L.A. Click. So when I get to L.A., I call him. I'll be like, where you at? Nigga, you know, man, I'm at the studio. Come through. Well, and that's all he did. Like, I remember me. See, I was different. I was in the street, and I enjoyed being in the street. So I would write my lyrics and shit when I was at home, go to the studio, lay them, and then get the fuck out of there. You know, I didn't like staying in the studio because I was a street prodigy. I was a hood famous nigga. You know what I mean? So I did a lot of my shit in the hood. So I wanted to get back to the street. You know, I had the fancy cars and all that shit. And I remember telling Pac one time, I was like, hey, we was in the studio, I was like, man, we got to go get something to eat. And he just started laughing and shit. I'm like, what you laughing at? He said, why, you hungry? I said, hell yeah, we've been sitting here drinking and smoking all motherfucking night, man, I'm starving. He's like, yeah, well, shit, I'm going to have him bring some food. Whatever we need, we're going to bring it to the studio. We're not leaving the studio. And that's kind of how he used to rock. And see, I never did it like that. But that nigga would sleep in the studio. Like, he did not want to get out of there. And the thing is, he didn't see himself, man. He just wanted to do more and more and more. Just like that song he talking about, that's what I'm all about, more. Like, he just wanted to do more and more. And I don't mean he wanted to do more like money, and because I never saw him really enjoy none of his money. Like, I enjoyed my money. I bought boats and all type of shit. You know what I mean? I like doing shit. That nigga just was a workaholic, man. He just used to work. His work ethic was crazy. Like, he would write songs. Like that night we was doing that song you talk about, We Ain't Hard to Find. He had another song up that he wanted me on. He was like, "Is a verse open? You want to get on this one?" And I was like, shit, I didn't know you wanted me on. So I could write something like, "You ain't got nothing already?" I was like, "No, don't worry about it." So he sat there, scribbled something up, went in the booth, laid the shit, bam. Now we on to the next song. Like, that's just how he used to work. Like, he was fast. I remember telling him some of his ad-libs wasn't saying the same words as the other words. The word he was ad-libbing on top of, I was like, "Dude, on that one you said this, and then on the ad-lib, I don't give a fuck. Just leave it. Just leave it." So we're on to the next. Like, and that's what he was. He was into working. So I could almost definitely say he didn't know how big he was because he didn't give a fuck. He didn't care. That's not what he did it for. He didn't do it to be big. He didn't do it for the fame. He just was living it in the moment. And I remember he used to tell me, he's like, "Man, I never know when this shit gonna be over, man. So I'm living." You know? He was my little big homie. I used to always tell him, "Damn, I ain't never had my little homie outdo me and get bigger than me," because he was my little homie. He's still my little homie, but even though he was way larger than I ever got musically, but he just was way more focused. He was way more, his work ethic was a lot better than mine. I gave all my time to the street. You know what I mean? Because that's where I came from. That's what we was on. Like, he just wanted to make music, man. That's all he wanted to do, was make music. All he wanted to do was make music. You feel me?
I guess the only thing, do you have a message for the fans that are waiting for your next release, that have seen you go through some hard times? You got something that you'd like to say directly to them?
Yep. I just would like to say to any fan of mine out the gate, I'm sorry because I got bitter with music just for different reasons. And in doing that, thinking I was punishing the people that I thought I was punishing, I was really, taking it out on the people who love the music, my fans, you know what I mean? And they still been waiting. I don't know if all of them still out there, but a lot of them have still been waiting, man. I got some new music coming. Hopefully it ain't too late. I still got a lot of good shit to talk about. And it may not sound like this new shit that's out, but it's some dope shit. And to me, it's dope. I've been playing it. I've been testing it for the longest with different people. Like, "Hey, what you think? What you think? What you think?" Just stay tuned. Fed Case is coming. Grow Room is coming, and I got a lot more shit to come after that. And shit, that'll be about it, man. From the kid, that'll be about it. Put this in there.
Okay.
This dude been chasing me for this interview for I don't know how long. He been trying to get this interview for me for so long, and I've been saying I was gonna do it and saying I was gonna do it, and we've been hitting and missing and hitting and missing. So to the fans that's out there that read wherever he puts this at, he's a persistent mother trying to get this information. Because he could have fell off a long time ago. He's been trying to get at me for this interview for a long ass time.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
This is a Jmix exclusive.
What up, shut up?